What is going on, everyone? The past 36 hours for the Houston Texans has been absolutely crazy. We are being laughed and criticized at for losing possession of the number one overall pick when we maintained it for a majority of the season. And in the very last game, the Houston Texans give that away to the Chicago Bears. We are being laughed and criticized for, more on the criticizing part for this one, but for firing Lovie Smith after only one season as head coach. This is the second back-to-back one and done. The other one was David Culley. This is now, in Nick Caserio's 3 years here as a GM, his third head coach, the fourth Houston Texans head coach in 4 years now. People are now starting to ask Nick Caserio some questions, and I think that was very warranted, right? But with the press conference yesterday, it started off with this quote. Let's be honest, the clock is ticking. If I don't do my job well enough, at some point, decisions will be made. That was Nick Caserio talking about the way these past 2 years have been going for the Houston Texans. Only 7 wins combined, and Aaron Wilson was just doing a fantastic job reporting the entire time. And multiple times, Nick Caserio talked about the possibility of stepping down. He talked multiple times about this being on him. He has taken accountability, right? This is something that we haven't seen from Nick Caserio. So it begs the question, is he on the hot seat? Is he getting pressure from ownership? Because we haven't seen any pressure from Cal McNair since he's taken over. But with the way this season has been going, by the way these fans have been reacting the past 36 hours, I think Cal McNair has came to his senses and is now putting the pressure on Nick Caserio. When Nick Caserio was talking about the head coaching process, he's talked about having a young guy here, right? Talked about building something for the future. And some of the head coaches that he requested, right? Look at the names. Jonathan Gannon, Ejiro Evero, D'Amico Ryans, Shane Steichman, Ben Johnson. All guys who are young, all guys who are being looked at as people who could start a franchise and be their head coach for a remainder of years to come. And when Nick Caserio was talking about his hiring process, right, some things that stick out to me was where he said, if I'm interviewing a head coach and he doesn't feel comfortable with me as general manager, I will think about the possibility of stepping down. We haven't heard this from Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio to us has always been viewed as someone who needs to be in control, who has a headset on during Sundays, who was there at every single practice, training camp, whatever. Nick Caserio is on his stuff. And for him to say, I'm willing to take a step back so the next head coach can feel comfortable is telling. Another thing he talked about was the staff. We know David Culley and Lovie Smith didn't get a chance to build their staffs. We know that was one of the questions in this offseason heading into it was, is Nick Caserio going to let the new head coach, whoever it is, pick their staff? Are they even going to want that? And he said that the next head coach will have a say in his staff. We haven't heard this from Nick Caserio. It sounds like they are going to go in and listen to exactly what the candidates want, and they're going to have to find a middle ground to agree for one of these guys to be the next Houston Texans head coach. But honestly, I'm loving it. We should have had this type of urgency and fire last year. Remember, he said, I'm going to go down swinging. Also, in the press conference, he talked about the assets he has going into the offseason. Draft capital, a bigger salary income. And he's like, yes, talk is cheap, right? The vibe from this conference is kind of actions speak louder than words. We've talked the past 2 years how we want to build a winning culture, but we only have 7 wins to show for it. Nonetheless, there is now pressure on the Houston Texans, pressure on Nick Caserio. You have to get this next hire right. Your next couple months need to be convincing enough for the Houston Texans and Cal McNair to even want you back here, right? Multiple times he talked about not being here. This is a dude who's scared about losing his job, and as he should. 7 wins in 2 seasons, no bright future in sight, no quarterback in sight. You just lost the number 1 overall pick. You fired your second head coach in 2 years, and now you're looking for your third and 3. It's getting interesting, guys. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the news, about the conference, about this drama. As always, go Texans. Y'all have a blessed day.